Well, we are almost there. Man of Steel arrives in theaters on June 14th. And if you're not familiar with Man of Steel, that is Superman. Runtime is about 143 minutes, according to IMDb. That's just under 2.5 hours. Directed by Zack Snyder, and music score by Hans Zimmer. He's done the score for the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Of course, Christopher Nolan's Batman movies as well. So my prediction for the box office, domestically, midnight showings plus opening day and opening weekend, all those combined, I'm going to say 230 million plus, easily. I know those are high numbers, but the hype, the buzz surrounding this movie is fantastic. Internationally, who knows? It opens, I think, like 2 days earlier in other parts of the world. But it's going to bring in some big numbers. Alright, so I have some notes. No order, just based on, the trailers, TV spots I've seen. Just some observations in that. Clark Kent, no glasses. And is he going to be working at the Daily Planet? It's pretty obvious that Lois Lane is working there. She's a reporter. But we don't see the infamous Clark Kent with his glasses. That's how he hides his identity. Looks like he's just working some odd jobs growing up. The Fortress of Solitude. I heard it's inside of a spacecraft from Krypton. So he won't be building, everything out of ice by himself. I'm not sure how it comes to be, but I guess we'll find out. I don't think Krypton is going to be destroyed until Clark is grown up. There are some shots, with Russell Crowe as Jor-El, and it seems like it's going to happen later on. And they send Clark to Earth, to the planet, maybe to avoid the war that's going on. Why does Zod want Kal-El? Why does he come to Earth, and why does he want him back? Does he want to take him to Krypton? Who knows if this will follow the events, from the first 4 movies. But I'm curious if he just wants to fight him, or if who knows. Looks like Zod has 3 team members. Of course, in Superman 2, he had 2. We should see some good fight sequences then. Looks like some great performances by the cast. Lois Lane looks like she's shooting a gun in one of the latest TV spots. That's pretty exciting. The TV spots and the trailers, they just get more and more epic. Henry Cavill, I think I'm pronouncing that right. I think he's perfect for the role. A little more gritty, than Reeve and Ruth. How do you pronounce his name? The no underwear on the outside of the uniform, of the outfit. I understand that, but why not a different color belt? Someone pointed that out to me the other day, and that makes sense. The suit, it's mostly blue, and it's like a belt would make it stand out, make it more, I don't want to say fashionable, but give it a different tone. The action sequences from the trailers and spots, we see Superman, we see him, going at his ultimate speed, faster than a speeding bullet. And I'm glad those shots were shot very well. It's a lot to keep up with. The speed, the intensity, we see the laser vision, whatever you call it, the heat vision. Those look amazing. So we got Amy Adams, Russell Crowe, Kevin Costner. We got Fishburne, Shannon, Mallory. Just an excellent cast. Snyder and his team did a really good job casting this movie. I would imagine it's not hard getting people to sign on for this. It's Superman. Everybody loves Superman. I think this could be the ultimate Superman movie. Like, years from now, people will tell others, well, this is the one. This is Superman. And that's no offense to Reeve in the older movies. Like Superman and Superman 2 are great films. But I think this one is going to be more updated. It looks like the action is better and more accurate. I think it's easier for them to do the action sequences than before. So we get to see them, zipping around, fighting everybody really fast. The S. It seems like they're making a big deal not to use the name Superman too often. Or not even at all. They're calling it Man of Steel. There's a scene where Lois is interrogating or talking to Superman, or to the Man of Steel, and she says, what does the S stand for? He says something like, well, where I come from, it's not an S, it's a symbol, it means hope. She says, what about Superman? And then you hear the feedback. But I think that's interesting. I think they want him, to be more of a symbol rather than just a name. Kneel before Zod. Are we going to hear him say that? Zod? The infamous line? I don't think this one's going to be as theatrical as the one in Superman 2. I can't remember the name of the actor that plays him. But he was, like, we shall fight now, Superman, son of Jor-El. Kneel before Zod. This one looks badass. Michael Shannon, who plays him, I don't think I've seen Shannon in anything else besides this. Like, I haven't seen his other work. But this is going to land him some big opportunities. A great General Zod. More threatening. And I can't wait to see him and his team take on Superman. It's going to be excellent. So some pros. The cast. Again, I mentioned all the names. Just a fantastic cast. The action sequences. I heard we're going to get quite a few of them. So it's not like they're going to do the origin and then, the last 20 minutes do a big action sequence. I think we're going to get several spread out. And the story looks really good. I mean, personally, the first Superman movie, Christopher Reeve, that was all the origin story. So I don't really need to see it again, but I think they have a different twist on it, a different spin. Cons. Now, these are things that I'm kind of worried about, but I'm still going to watch the movie, don't get me wrong. The shaky, the POV cam, when they're following people into buildings when the action's going on. Everyone's, running for cover. Some of the shots I've seen, they're just too much of the shaky cam, as I call it. So I'm kind of worried about that. I know, directors use it during the tense moments and that you kind of tilt the camera, shake it a bit. But it looks like it might be overdone in this, but I'm hoping not. Another con, now this one's, you can argue this one. I'm just pointing this out. This doesn't look like a fun movie. It's a very serious, dark tone. This isn't the friendly, easygoing Superman that we saw, that we were given from Reeves in the old movies. This is a very serious, dark tone, kind of like Batman Begins. So I don't think, kids are going to be wanting to suit up as Superman and play Superman as much, because this is definitely, a PG-13 take on the character. I'm glad that Zack Snyder, and all the interviews I've watched about this, he doesn't seem nervous at all. He seems very comfortable, very confident, and it seems like he just had a blast making this movie. For me, that's a great sign. I know, sucker punch, I know, but hopefully this will make up for it. This man will steal the box office. It's going to bring in some big numbers. I think it can top Avengers numbers. I mean, as much as we love the Avengers, I won't get too in-depth about it, but, some of the movies, the build-up movies, didn't get, that much positive feedback. So it's like when you get them all into one movie, that's when it took off. That's when the franchise took off, along with Iron Man. But with this one, it's like, we've had Superman in our lives since the early 1900s, like 1920s, 30s, I think, is when they started the comics. So it's something people are more familiar with. Even though those characters, they also got started early on. I think Superman, the old movies, they've had a better rep over the years. Except for 4. That one was kind of a disaster. Superman Returns. It's a great looking movie. Really good performances. But just freaking boring. Just like Kevin Smith said. As he said numerous times, It's a very boring movie. I mean, the big finale, spoiler alert. He gets stabbed with a piece of kryptonite. Falls off a rock into the water, into the ocean. Wakes up in a hospital and then, flies and spies on Lois Lane. And not much of a finale. I wanted to see him beat the crap out of Lex Luthor. Do you think we're going to see Lex Luthor in this movie? Maybe a post-credit scene or something? Or, like at the end of Batman Begins, when they kind of teased the Joker. Maybe they'll do that here. Leaves a calling card. Calls himself Lex Luthor. Gee, I wonder what Lex is going to do in the next movie. Maybe it involves another real estate scam? Looking back at Reeves' movies really quickly. Yeah, 1 and 2 were great. 3 I actually really enjoyed. It was a lot of fun. 4, I would love to see the full cut of that movie. I read it's about maybe just over 2 hours. Like just a little bit. Around 120 minutes. Because you watch that movie and it's like, you think, well, wow, this is edited so poorly. They had to cut so much out. There's a bunch of stuff they couldn't do. And the pacing of the film suffers as a result. But I would love to see the full cut of that. And it's hilarious that Nuclear Man has Lex's voice. You have my voice. No, you have my voice. Just hilarious. But yeah, I grew up on those movies. Returns was entertaining, but I think this is going to be the ultimate Superman movie. And if for some reason this movie fails, I'm just saying, let's hand over the reins to Kevin Smith. Let's see what he can do. Not with John Peters and all that stuff. Maybe the studio will be like, alright, we're going to give this to you. Just do whatever you want. Just please make sure he fights a giant spider in the 3rd act. That's all we ask. But if you watched An Evening with Kevin Smith, you'll understand that reference. Anyways, really looking forward to this movie. June 14th, Man of Steel. I really want to like it. The trailers, the TV spots are all great. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Leave some video responses. Let me know box office results, what you think of the old movies, your pros and cons for this movie, or if you agree with mine. And I think that's going to do it. Thank you very much for listening. Subscribe for new videos. And have yourself a wonderful day.